Red Card FC, we strike again. Big Ange is sent packing back to Australia. And Chelsea, we walk away with those all important 3 points. Chelsea 3, Nottingham Forest nil. Welcome back to the channel, guys. And it was definitely a game of two halves, wasn't it? Dead first half, great second half. And in the end, was a comfortable 3-0 victory for us. But in classic Chelsea style, we didn't make it easy for ourselves. And it did start with the lineup. For me, the lineup just showed way too much respect to Forest, if I'm going to be honest, and it showed in the first half. Their midfield overran us. Defense was definitely shaky for us in the first sort of like 30 minutes. It did get better towards the end of the second half, but the midfield is what I focused on really because we played such a defensive unit in midfield, two DMs and a right back, barely any creativity. João Pedro had another one of those halves where he was non-existent, but it was mainly down to having no creativity behind him. The wingers suffered, didn't really put anything of note into the box or have any really noteworthy chances. Santos had a few, good chances towards the end of the first half, but nothing to write home about. And like I said, we just gave him too much respect. And I don't understand why, considering what we did against Liverpool and how we played against Liverpool, the braveness, how we attacked that game. It was almost the opposite against Forest, which was strange because we know the struggles that they're going through right now. They're not playing good football at all. Ange is on the ropes, 1 foot out the door already. He's got a suitcase packed at home, ready to go because he knows he's about a few minutes away from the sack. And it ended up happening anyway. And we just stepped off. So it was slightly disappointing to see how we approached that first half and the lineup. But we changed it. Boy, did we change it. Second half, unreal performance. Unreal performance and smart substitutions. Not waiting to the 60th, 70th minute to make those subs on half time. And the one we need to talk about the most is Marc Guiu. Completely changed that game when he come on. Now, though he didn't score or assist in that, what Marc Guiu did was he absolutely stretched that defense, which allowed João Pedro to have all the space in the world in that number 10 role. Because we know what João Pedro is. He's a mixture between a 10 and a 9. But when he's playing up front, he needs to have a good 10 behind him. You can't be sticking a Gusto or a Santos behind him that are not that creative flair type of player. You need to have a Palmer or an Esteval in behind him so that is a bit more creative. Otherwise, you've got to play him in the 10. And he looked so much better in the second half. But the reason he looked so much better in the second half was because Marc Guiu made the space for him. And I swear our work rate and our pressing went up by like 100% as soon as he walked onto that pitch. Because you get players that don't like to do the running. Marc Guiu is an absolute animal when it comes to pressing. And he will press non-stop for a full 90 minutes. I've seen the geezer do it. And that is what we needed in this game. We needed someone to stretch the defense to give us some space. And that is the biggest prop I can give. Obviously, Caicedo come on. He locked down that midfield. I think Lavia did struggle in this game, but Lavia is another player. If he has a Caicedo alongside him, Lavia ticks. Because he can do the things that he normally does because he's got the cover there of Caicedo who just sweeps things up. So on that side of things, I understand Lavia was trying to do the Caicedo role and he's not the same type of player. So with Caicedo come on, we added a bit more solidity in there, a bit more freedom. Even Gusto looked better in that second half than what he did in the first half because of the confidence that Caicedo brings into the team. Josh Achimpong, another solid performance, a goal, 2 academy product goals, might I add, in this game. But he was superb today. And we did a watch along for this game over on the Stamford Sync, and it definitely made the first half a lot more palatable being in that watch along, having someone to moan back and forth about it. So if you did join us in there, thank you for coming out. Definitely want to catch you all in the next one. But what Josh has done and what we were saying is we need consistency in this team, especially in the centre back role, not chopping and changing every game and not really allowing the players to build any kind of partnership together. And Josh, before this game, I think the best two defensive performances we had were Crystal Palace and Liverpool. Both featured Josh. And today, another solid performance, bar the first 25, 30 minutes, looked a little bit shaky. But other than that, all the way through, I think Josh was solid pretty much the whole game. And I want Josh to stay in that centre back role. I want him to play in the next game against Ajax. I want him to have some consistency in that back line because we do look better with him. And I think alongside him with Trevor, I think that is the best partnership that we have right now. And he got rewarded with the goal today. And he deserved it, man. He deserved the start. He deserved the performance and he deserved the accolades because he's a young kid. He's a young kid that's come from the academy that is trying to fight his way into this squad, and he's doing that. And I made this sort of statement at the start of the season. I had big things for Josh this season, and I do still think that is going to come to fruition if he continues the way that he's going because it was superb. And he got that all important first goal. And once that first goal went in, that was it. The floodgates opened. The stadium was emptying. Marianakis was round Ange's house, grabbing his suitcase and preparing his P45 before the guy even got to the dressing room. It was night and day. Second half compared to the first half. Second goal, free kick from Pedro Neto. Lovely little finish. Got his reward again. He works so hard, Neto. And one thing that he's lacking is that like the GA, the goals, the assist. You know, work rate is great, but when you're playing on the wing, you've got to have the goals and assists. You've got the cross in, which was a lovely dink ball in for Josh for the first goal. He then got his goal himself with the free kick, which was a lovely little layoff by Reece James. Banged it in. I mean, Sells should have done better. He got a hand to it. It wasn't like it was whacked with super venom and it was rippling the net. He should have done a bit better, but it don't matter. And I don't care because it's gone in the back of the net. We're cruising at 2-0 and things are looking good. Things are looking good, but it doesn't stop there because we do get a third. And it's none other than El Capitano, Reece James. Man, it's so good to have this guy in the team. It is so good. And the fact now that he's consistently staying fit and he's staying in the team, it's just a breath of fresh air. And it makes me look back at the last few seasons. And if we had a fully fit Reece James, could we have done much better? I think we would have. And he just shows today he's in the box, corner in, right place, right time, rifled in, 3-0 Chelsea. And it is peachy, it is happy days. We are walking away with those 3-0. Ange is getting sacked in the morning, chants ringing around the stadium. It's a beautiful sight. It is a beautiful sight. But it's also soured. It's also soured by Red Card FC. Because, of course, we can't play a game without getting a blooming red card, can we? I've been saying it in my previews, reviews when we're over on the Blue Lounge on the stream. Like, there's got to come to a point where the red cards have got to stop, right? But I'm not saying it no more because every time I say it, we get another one. I said at the start of the stream, I don't want to see no red apart from the red on Nottingham Forest players' shirts. And of course, Gusto. It's now becoming more than just a coincidence or bad luck. It's starting to creep into the system. Where this foul was committed by Gusto, it was in their half of the pitch. There was no need to make this. There was no attacking impetus. There was no threat. The Forest players were already down in the dumps. They were already waiting to get to the dressing room and get rifled by Marianakis because we know that's what was coming. And Gusto just gives away a silly tackle, gets himself booked again. And it's 5 red cards this season already. 5 red cards in 6 games. Something's got to be done. And there's a few in there that you go, it's unlucky. But it's becoming a consistent theme now in the team. And we've really got to nip it in the bud, like ASAP, because we're losing players to injuries left, right, and centre, which is not good in itself. And we can't be adding to the list with the red cards because we've got a list for injuries and now we've got a freaking list for players that are getting red cards. And it's just getting longer. So whatever Maresca needs to do, if he needs to pull them and slap them behind the ear, He was handing out love notes and, getting everybody in for the Ange sack party during the game. Whack a note in their lockers and tell them to stop getting freaking red cards. That would be helpful. But other than that, superb performance in that second half. Superb, night and day. And what I hope this has highlighted for Maresca today is that while we're going through this period without Palmer, without Delap as a striker, we've got Marc Guiu there ready made. We've seen João Pedro operates better in the 10 while Cole Palmer is not available. So play them together. Please play them together. Although Ajax, João Pedro got the red card, didn't he, against Benfica, so he's not going to be available for it. Going forward, next Premier League game, I want to see Marc Guiu and João Pedro on the pitch together for the entirety of the game. Because I think this is the recipe to get us through this run while we're without Cole Palmer. Esteval come on. Yes, I would have preferred him to start. I know he was sick. I think over the international break picked up a bit of flu, but he was training. He did come on, get a few minutes. I do expect him to start in the Champions League. So it's not the end of the world. We've got 3 points, but he's still, for me, our most creative and best winger that we have on form at the moment. So I do want to see him getting more minutes. And we were talking about it on the stream as well. Yes, you've got to protect these players. You've got to, manage their minutes. But he hasn't played 15, 20 games. And we're not talking about him having so many games that he's run ragged. He's had rest. He's stringed a few games together. He's got to build up some confidence. He's got to build up some consistency in himself. And he's only going to get that by playing. So we've got to play him more. And I want to see him starting consecutive games and see how he copes. Just do 2 games and see how he copes with it and then go from there. But at the moment, it's 1 game, then he's dropped. And then it's hard for players to build up consistency. Garnacho struggled a little bit today. Nothing like the performance against Liverpool. Gittins come on, did okay. Nothing to really write home about. But what we did do in the second half is we played as a team. It wasn't about individual brilliance. It was quite a collective performance to finish out that game, which was good to see because we're going to need that. We don't want to just rely on individual brilliance all the time because then we will struggle in games going in the future. But the main thing is, man, we've walked away with these 3 points. We're climbing up that table. We were 4th. I think, games have happened now. We've dropped a little bit down, but we're in and around it. We're amongst where we want to be. And we need to just keep racking in these points because this is a great run for us. This is a really good run. We can get maximum points here and things will be looking healthy. Things will be looking healthy. And if we can get a few of those injury players back and we can stop getting these red cards, it would look even better. But look, guys, I've rambled on, but I want to get your thoughts on it. How do you think this game went? Give me your standout player. Drop it in the comments below. But for now, guys, that is all from me. If you're enjoying the content, smash the likes, subscribe if you're new. But for now, take care of yourselves and I will catch you in the next one.